Hi, I'm Phoebe Cacchetti. This is my self care project submission for Advanced Counselor's Ethics. So, first of all, I just want to say I really enjoyed this project and I found it to be extremely helpful to me throughout the semester as I was thinking I really needed to be implementing some self care regimens into my routine, some more effective ones rather than just, taking a bubble bath or something like this. So what I did is I set aside time every night for a long, unwinding self care routine. So I had not previously really done this, but it had always kind of been a goal of mine to have something like that and to have it be a habit and not something that I had to, really like force myself to do or that I would forget to do throughout all the time. And I mean, there were definitely still nights that I didn't do it to the fullest extent, but this was the first semester that I've had, and really the first time in my life that I've had a really consistent nighttime routine where I would take a really long shower and I would have really nice candles in there and just have the nice mood lighting to wind me down. And then the most important part, I think, of my nighttime routine was after that, I would lay out my yoga mat. And I really liked listening to Hertz as well. I did a little bit of research about, because kind of my goal for my self care quest this semester was to implement more peace into my life. I felt like that was something I was really focused on. So I did research on kind of what sounds are best for peace and for balance and things like that. So I would listen to Hertz that would kind of help with those things. Which are just, different frequencies that you can listen to. It sounds a little huru guru, but it was really helpful to me. And I would listen to the Hertz and I would do a long stretching routine and meditation routine. And just would also, this was something I kind of got better at doing the nighttime routine as the semester went, because I kind of, figured these are things that I kind of want to add to that. And one of those things was setting my intentions for the day that night, for the next day. So I started doing that, and that made it so easy for me when I would get up. And then it even evolved into kind of, setting my clothes aside. What clothes am I going to wear the next day? What do I want to get done the next day? What are my intentions? And also setting my journal up for that morning, because the nighttime routine also kind of evolved into a morning routine as well. So I started doing gratitude journaling in the morning this semester, which, I mean, that seriously helped so much. I'd heard loads and loads about how gratitude journaling is helpful. And I mean, I've practiced gratitude my whole life, but never so intentionally and so consistently. And yeah, I mean, it has been a huge mindset shift. So yeah. And what else I did that was kind of new this semester was I really just allowed myself to sit with my emotions whenever they would come up. I think as I was meditating more consistently, you kind of start to meet those parts of yourself that you don't necessarily have to meet when you're kind of running on, running, going through your day, not taking a moment to pause. So as I was taking these moments to pause and I would realize, maybe there's some big emotions kind of boiling underneath the surface that I haven't quite dealt with. And so rather than, I mean, it was kind of a process, right? I think the first couple of weeks I would kind of stop meditating whenever it got to that point. But and I was tracking all of this in my journal because I've been keeping a journal as a part of my self-care routine since high school. But with the project this semester, I really was just tracking my progress, tracking how my nighttime routine was going, tracking how I was feeling as well. I just find that aspect of self-care to be really helpful for me because something that I learned this semester as I was really tracking my emotions and keeping clear track of how I would be feeling one month versus the next month is just how transient my feelings really are a lot of times and my heavy emotional states really are, and they can feel so big and so looming whenever they're happening, but to kind of have the perspective that these moments are fleeting, and look at how I felt in, August versus how I feel in October, and the things that were huge issues then are not such problems now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that tracking really, really helped me. And then going back to when those big emotions would come up, it helped me meet those emotions and let myself just feel them, because it's not this scary thing of like, oh no, I feel bad right now. I can't feel bad right now. I need to feel good. It was like, okay, my body wants to feel bad right now, and we're going to let it. So that was so awesome and so helpful. And I tracked all of that in my journal as well as in my calendar. I would put a check next to when I did the full routine. And, it was also kind of an aspect of like, because you can very easily fall into the trap when you're doing something like this of it not becoming self-care if you start beating up on yourself, or when you don't meet your self-care goals, which is the opposite of the point. So I started feeling bad if I would miss a few self-care days, and then I thought, this is a part of it too, you know what I mean? This leniency with myself. It's not about being perfect. It's about, growing and getting better and just taking care of myself to the best of my ability that day. And for me, it was mostly about my mental status and mental clarity, because I feel like I have a really good workout routine, things like this that help me with mental clarity. But my goal of this semester was just peace of mind, and these things really, really helped me. So, yeah, like I said in the beginning, I think I was really gung-ho about it in the beginning of the semester and really thought, like, I'm going to crush this. I'm going to be, like, the best at self-care that there ever was, which, not totally realistic because, life got super busy, as it always does, and, I would miss certain days. And like I said, there was kind of that give and take of like, oh, I'm irritated at myself for not meeting these goals, but also these are goals that are meant to make me feel good about myself, so I don't need to beat myself up. So that was kind of the process of it. And then I got into a really nice groove, I would say by October, November, of just moving through it kind of naturally. It really has become a habit for me, which is awesome because that's been a goal for a really long time. So, and what I plan to do moving forward, kind of through this process, I realized, okay, I have the nighttime routine down now, and the mental peace and the meditation down a little bit more. All of that's working in my favor. So I started looking at other areas in my life that might need some attention, and something that I want to or am implementing in my self-care routine moving forward is saying no to more things, because kind of my biggest hurdle this semester was just how busy I was, and I wanted to be saying yes to all of the things, and I wanted to take on all of the challenges, but burnout is so real. And even with my little self-care routine, it was still, things were piling up. So yeah, definitely moving forward, saying no to more things and being honest with myself about what I have space for and what I don't have space for is super important to me. So just doing those check-ins, and once again, not leaving shame off the table. It's not, it's not a shameful thing if I don't have space for something in my life, unless it's something that I need to be doing. It's okay, and I'm allowed to say no to things. And I think that was kind of something that I learned throughout this semester and what I want to include moving forward. And yeah, just taking more time to pause in general, I think is such a helpful omen for me, and just kind of understanding like I'm allowed to take time to pause. I don't need to answer just because somebody asked me. I don't need to answer right away. The answer doesn't need to be yes. So that kind of ended up being the shift after I felt like I'd kind of integrated the aspects of self-care that I was working on from the beginning of the semester. And yeah, I would say what I mainly learned about self-care is how it's just an ongoing process, and how whenever you've kind of nailed one thing that you want to work on, something else comes up. But it's really been this beautiful kind of soft opening for me of just kind of relaxing more into myself and learning, what do I have space for and what don't I have space for, and how can I take care of myself best, especially in this profession, so that I can serve others best. So yes, thank you so much for listening to me, and have a great Christmas or a holiday or a break. Thank you.